On May 5th, 2017, Doc made his first public appearance at Barksdale Air Force Base Air Show in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is where Doc was first deployed back in 1945.
To really see the triumphant return for Doc in 2017 to that first air show at Barksdale Air Force Base was inspiring.
It was one of the fortunate few that were able to ride down here to Barksdale Air Force Base on the aircraft, and it was tremendous.
Our first air show is an immense success due to the people involved, the people here at this Air Force Base and the people of the community here. Fantastic crowd, very appreciative people. The kids were great.
We were able to form up with a B-52, a B-17, and a B-25, and that really put a lump in my throat.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your cameras out. You'll never see this again. The Big Bomber Sortie, 25, 17, 29, and 52. Let's watch.
Representing Wichita extremely well, and we're thrilled to be here.
Doc returned home to Wichita to do a flyover on June the 2nd to start the Sundowner Parade for the Wichita River Festival.
And being able to bring Doc to that River Festival event, fly over the top, and then also being a part of the parade.
Doc's next appearance was at Whiteman Air Force Base.
Our dad, her grandfather, flew in B-29s in World War II in the China-Burma-India theater. He flew on the General H.H. Arnold Special. He was a radar operator. And we toured Doc while it was being rebuilt in Wichita.
This was Grandpa's plane.
Meeting those people along the way has been something that I don't think any of us who've been part of the project will ever forget.
Long lines of people waited to get a closer look at Doc.
And we appreciate all the service of all men and women that serve in the military.
My dad was a navigator on a B-29 in World War II and flew 30 missions. He was based in Saipan. I can't even describe the emotion of being able to board this plane and to sit in the navigator's seat and to see the plane, the size of it, the scope, and just the magnificence of this old plane. And I thank Doc's friends for restoring this plane and keeping this history alive.
I was in the B-29 outfit during the war. I was in the second B-29 that came out of Boeing plant. We went overseas to India, was there for a year, flew the hump to China and back. Then after the war was over in Europe, they shipped us to Tinian, to a B-29 base there, and eventually the Enola Gay was right across the fence from the plane I was working on. Quite an experience. I worked on the remote control gunnery systems in the B-29. At the time, very advanced. Being able to see the Enola Gay right across the fence. I knew the tail gunner and the pilot, Colonel Tibbs, and they'd wave and I'd wave at them. And I was there the day they took off with the A-bomb. I'm just glad that they're restoring one of the real winners of the war.
Doc stopped briefly in Cedar Rapids, Iowa to thank Rockwell Collins for all their support on July 21st and was open to the public. Doc departed the next day.
29 missions in the B-29. I was a top turret gunner. Tokyo was the first. And then there was Nagoya and a whole bunch, everyone they had. Well, we got shot up from down. We had to land in Okinawa.
On July 22nd, 2017, Doc made its grand appearance at the EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
2017 was the year of the bomber at EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and we could see the people flocking and running to the fence line, running to the barricades to get a glimpse of this shiny silver airplane that we know as B-29 Doc.
Well, I'm here today because I've always wanted to see a B-29 up close. My dad retired as Major James A. Ashcraft. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to go on. It really meant a lot. I didn't expect it to take me to make me so emotional, but I really appreciate you all letting me do this today.
Seeing this airplane is just, you can't believe what's going on inside of me and the memories that are coming back.
The people I've talked to on the road have, for me, been the most emotional experience of my entire career with working on Doc. I've laughed with complete strangers. I've hugged and cried with complete strangers and families and groups. The stories will absolutely buckle your knees when they tell you of what their parents and their family members experienced, or what is handed down to them through their family history. And getting to talk with those people and see that what we've done here is so important to them, complete strangers.
For the first time in many decades, two B-29s, Doc and Fifi, form up to do a flyover as a formation of two.
It absolutely swells you with pride and melts you with emotion. The stories where people looking at the airplane have tears come down their face, and you ask them what's wrong, and they say absolutely nothing. This is the most beautiful airplane I've ever got to see.
It is the belle of the ball, so to speak.
Doc was honored with several awards that showcased the outstanding achievement of the hundreds of volunteers that put Doc back in the air.
People come from all over. People will travel a few thousand miles to come see Doc. We've met people from Australia who said that they just came to Oshkosh, Wisconsin to see B-29 Doc.
Throughout the balance of 2017, Doc's tour of duty drew record crowds and concluded on September the 13th through the 17th at Joint Base Andrews Air Show. The 2018 show schedule started in Cleveland, Ohio on May 31st, Tony Mazzolini's hometown.
And quite emotional event yesterday when I saw this plane land for the first time in Cleveland. I had hoped over the years to eventually bring it into Cleveland. The dream has been fulfilled. I'm very happy to show the airplane off to my family, friends, and this community.
Next stop, Reading, Pennsylvania. On to Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
We trained in the B-29 in 1945, and we flew over Japan also in 1945. I'm the last one now from the crew. And on our 10th mission over Japan, we were shot down and captured by the Japanese and put in the horse stalls. And there were so many people there, a lot of them died in the horse stalls, and I was one of those fortunate enough to get out alive. And as a Minnesotan, I can proudly say that Harold Stassen came in to Omori Camp on the 29th of August, 1945, and let us all out. I survived along with about 110 others. And today, back to Wisconsin to see this wonderful airplane. And the people here have been so kind to us that, it's hard to believe you're not all Minnesotans.
Followed by Madison, Wisconsin.
Where see we clear over on 2. There she goes. Come on, baby. We have 4 good starts. Ken, I've got the throttles.
Then EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh.
Race 104, right base, 36 left, got the traffic, B-29. I was back, 36 left. And racer 104 is now going to be runway 36 right, runway parking crew, underneath the tow bar.
Everywhere we go, people rave about how the airplane performs, how it looks. So we just recently were approved by the FAA for our living history flight exemption, which means we can now offer revenue flights and rides on dock, and that's a big deal for us to be able to really extend our mission and really let people see and feel and hear the sights and sounds of those war heroes who served in our country, in our military, and flew during World War II and flew these airplanes in combat. It's an opportunity for us to do that. That helps us maintain the airplane. Those funds from the ticket sales go right back into the airplane and allow us to be able to maintain dock and be able to take dock to future air shows and really be self-sustaining. We have several more stops along the way to make throughout 2018. I am honored to be able to be in the position that I am, to be able to talk about it, to be able to brag about their work, to be able to talk about the legacy that they are leaving behind. But there are so many people that you don't see. There are so many volunteers, dozens, hundreds of volunteers who have been involved in the project. Each one of them are equally important, and so important to the restoration and the maintenance of the airplane that we would not be where we are today. We would not have a hangar. We would not have an airplane. We would not have anything to be able to take out on tour and showcase and honor without our volunteers. Those early volunteers in California, the volunteers early in 2000 when the airplane arrived in Wichita on 7 flatbed trailers, to the volunteers who would not accept no for an answer when they ran into hard times financially, ran into hard times with a place to put the airplane so they could do the work. Every step along the way, when they heard no or when they heard maybe not, they buckled down and they said, it will happen, and they never gave up. That is the most inspiring thing about the entire project, and something that I'm so honored and humbled to be a part of, something that I will never forget.
Just look at that. Gorgeous B-29.